change for the sake of change? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. To be completely honest, I hate that I have to come back to this topic again and again. So I'm going to try and capture my thoughts here once and for all. A phrase I hear frequently when people discuss the latest change they don't like in software, typically Windows, is this: they're just changing things for the sake of changing them. No. Just no. In my opinion, honestly, nothing could be further from the truth. When change does happen, whether it's a redesign of a favorite app, or an update to a product, or a new unasked for feature, people can get frustrated. As a result, they sometimes assume there's no good reason for the change. Some will even think it was done randomly, or simply because someone felt like shaking things up. No. Again, just no. Every change happens for a reason. That doesn't mean you'll always agree. You might think the change is unnecessary, a mistake, or even downright awful. I know I have. But the one thing you can assume is that there was a reason behind the decision. It might not even always be a well thought out decision or correct decision, but there is a decision. Change isn't random. Companies don't make change just because. Behind nearly every change, there is some kind of business justification. Some examples. Competition. Companies are under constant pressure to innovate so that they can stay relevant and competitive. If they don't evolve and keep up with trends, perceived or otherwise, they risk losing their place in the market. This is one of the reasons AI is being shoveled into so many places these days. Whether or not it makes sense, it's seen as a requirement to remain competitive. User experience. Sometimes testing actually does suggest that there's a better or easier way to do something. Even if you don't initially understand or even like the change, the goal is often to make things more intuitive and easier to use over time as people adopt the new method. Consistency across platforms. Some changes try to unify the way a product or service works on different platforms, like mobile devices versus computers. This can make the experience more consistent for users, and in some cases, it can actually also reduce the complexity of the underlying software. Of course, new features. Companies often add new features to stand out or provide more value to a specific group of customers, such as businesses. Catering to specific users. This is kind of sort of like the previous item. Sometimes a change is intended to appeal to a particular audience or customer base. For example, features might be added or changed based on what business customers, both business users and the IT departments responsible, need. No matter the reason, it's almost always about staying competitive and meeting the demands of a fast-changing world, even if you're not the one doing the changing. But I don't like it. There's always a reason behind the change. It might not be obvious to you, or it might not apply to you. For example, if a product changes to better serve business customers, regular users like you and I might not see the benefit. In fact, the change might even get in our way. Sometimes the reason turns out to be completely wrong. Companies certainly don't always make perfect decisions. Even so, there's still a reason, even if it doesn't make sense to you or it doesn't improve your experience. No, I really don't like it. Not everyone likes every change. No amount of explanation will make a new feature or updated design work for or even be tolerable to everyone. You might just not like it, plain and simple. And it happens a lot. If that's the case, it could be time for you to make the change. Switching to a different product or a different service that better fits your needs is always an option. While companies should ideally explain why they're making changes, those explanations might not always satisfy. They also won't necessarily fix something you dislike just because you dislike it. At the end of the day, the best thing that you can do is focus on finding a solution that works for you. Remember, there's always a reason, but that reason might not apply to you. That reason might not be obvious. That reason might just be wrong. You might not like it or understand the change, but there's always a reason for it. And if it's something you can't live with, then it might be time for a change of your own to a new solution that's more to your liking. That kind of change is entirely in your control. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/19522. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.